Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Mel Hamilton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Hey, it's sunny and 70 out there.
It is.
It's the best part of the weather time. It's sunny and 70 on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Can't ask for much better than that. So, hey, it's a call-in show. Let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. And anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, or you want to talk about anything in the automobile world, you want to talk about anything in the racing world, we don't care. Anyway, it's only showing you get paid to call in for the great price package, about over $130. And as always, Josh, what's in that package that you get for calling in? Not the chat line, but the call in.
There you go. So we'll mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hamilton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on your vehicle. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, so let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. Josh, we have the number up there. What about that?
Oh, yeah, that was my fault.
Morning, Jeff. Yeah, it was a little P1 last night, that's for sure. Dang, I can't. Where's my glasses are on my head, so you can't see. We got to get the phone number up on the screen. So, yeah, Jeff, thank you for that. We had a good night last night at Salina Speedway. We're headed to Team 3J's headed to Dodge City here this afternoon, so it'll be a fun time and see what we can do in Dodge City now too. So morning, Jason. Thanks everybody for joining us here this morning. It should be a fun time here. We get things going here shortly. So let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, that number comes right into the front desk. Tell the girls you want to get past you in the podcast, and Josh will zap you on the board and get you on the phone here. So,
and you'll be live as well,
and we'll be able to hear you. Guests don't like that. I'm probably getting my butt chewed because I got a black shirt on, Josh. I thought about that this morning as I was driving here. So, whoop, whoop, whoop.
I was wondering.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, anyway, anything ailing your car? Let's, Josh, anything? I know the shop is just stupid busy right now. Things going crazy back there. Anything weird, exciting? Anything you can talk about what's happened this week or whatever that we can help people with and understand better about their cars or stuff?
So I had a couple things that I wanted to talk about this morning for today's show. One of the things, this time of year, as you mentioned, the shop being busy and stuff like that, but I can't believe it, but we're like to August, which is crazy.
It's more than crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. My kids go back to school like August, I don't know, 13th or
is that right?
11th,
oh yeah, I know
it's something like that. I mean, they keep starting earlier and earlier, but thinking about that and like kids going back to college and things like that, it seems like we always get an influx of parents wanting to look over their vehicles or their kids' vehicles before they head back, things like that, to school for sure. So I mean, that's obviously a good idea. That's right around the corner, which is again kind of crazy that summer is winding down. So wanted to talk about that a little bit, and then the other thing that I wanted to bring up was I've got two other things that I want to talk about. One was insurance. So we had the situation for where our mobile service van was in an accident, and talk about like the limited liability on insurance for the state of Kansas and what that is, and understand, like, I don't think that a lot of consumers really even understand what they're signing up for when they're getting insurance.
You know, that is crazy because we've got the situation with the mobile van. We also had the problem with our toter that got hit.
Yeah.
And
so when you're a consumer out shopping for something, like there's a difference in price, right? And when insurance companies, and I'm not really even saying that it's the insurance company's fault, but there's a difference in what they're quoting you. So when you're just calling around shopping from provider to provider and looking for kind of the cheapest insurance rate, like there's a reason that's there. And then so the minimum amount for the state of Kansas on insurance is $25 $25,000 in personal bodily injury per
25
occupants.
grand. Yep.
Up to 50,000.
Yep.
Total. And then 25,000 in personal property damage. But I mean, you know as well as I do, getting in a wreck and hitting something. I mean, you take out a headlight and a grill or something like that. You're $2,000
easy, very quickly
into something.
But here's the thing: the 25,000. I mean, our states or whatever regulates this insurance has got to get more coverage. I mean, cars, I get it for years ago what they cost, but not today. I mean, our mobile van that's totaled, it's $100,000 unit, and we got 25,000. So now it's got to go back against our insurance for coverage.
Yeah.
So that claim goes against us, and we're not even at fault. I mean, he was just driving down
and then
Kellogg and got smashed in between two cars. Not even his fault or anything. A lady pulled in and hit him. He hit a semi, and a chain reaction happened. And now we're out 75 grand. Well, I shouldn't say our insurance is paying out 75 grand, but that claim then goes against us.
Yeah.
There's got to be some more rules or laws or regulations or whatever to get that coverage up higher from that part. And of course, there's so many people running without insurance.
Well, and I would, in those situations or scenarios too, I think that's absolutely crazy as well. But the dollar amount, I think, is so low. I mean, it's just that could happen very, very simple, very easily for sure. To be able,
I just thought about something. Just say you got the same 25,000. Can they even do that? Can they insure something that's less than 25,000? Because let's just say, for example, our $100,000 mobile van, and we put the minimums on it with 25,000. So that'd be 50,000 we'd end up getting, and there's still $50,000 hanging out there. What happens?
I think you're going to be
SOL.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's got to be some more rules and laws put into the play with that too,
for sure. And then especially in a multi-vehicle collision, now you add that up again and you get somebody else involved in the thing. But then kind of some of the other things that I wanted to talk about too was, purchase an insurance. And I've seen it on multiple times or occasions where, okay, they want to use aftermarket parts or salvage components.
I fight that all the time.
Stuff like that. And there's actually, as a policy provider, like there's additional coverage that you have to purchase to make them
use
original equipment parts. But on topic of discussion, or when you're purchasing that insurance, like those discussions never happen. You know what I'm saying? Right. Of what that looks like.
Yesterday, when I was headed to Salina to race, I got a call from a customer, and he has a wrap on his car.
Okay.
He got in an accident. It's $8,000 worth of damage to his F-150. And it needs $1,500 to replace the wrap on there. Well, guess what? His insurance agent didn't give him the coverage for his wrap, so he's out the $1,500 on his wrap to put it back on. So he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. He's going to take it off. What's he going to do from that part? So I had to kind of walk him through all that kind of stuff, trying to figure out what's the best thing for him. So that is something you need to do. You need to cover yourself very well. You need to sit down with your agent, make sure you know what your coverages are, how you're protecting yourself. And, it goes back to you get something cheap, but you're going to get what you pay for. I mean, that's pure and simple. But I still think, I don't know if it's the state of Kansas or if it's the insurance commissioners or whoever it is, for the value of these cars that are running around today, and someone can only have $25,000 worth of coverage to cover your car when they're at fault and hit you, and it can't be. You got to pay.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying,
would definitely agree with that.
Anyway, Jeff Danny wants to know about the 25 Expedition. Trust me, Jeff, I wished I knew too. It seems to me more and more all the time the manufacturers are keeping that so secret. And the only thing I can come up with is they're just trying to keep us to the competition, keep a leg up on the competition or whatever. It's like Chevrolet announced the ZR1 Corvette this week of over 1,000 horsepower, but guess what? There wasn't a price.
No price. No dollar figure.
No dollar figure on that thing. From that part, I think they're trying to figure out how they're going to catch up with the GTD Mustangs. What they're trying to figure out there.
I was 1,000 horsepower. That is I don't know. That's just crazy.
Guess what they're using? 2 turbos.
Yeah.
Who's been doing them turbos forever? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, kind of crazy. But I do, Jeff. I wish they'd tell us more, at least sneak a little something to us so we kind of know that kind of thing too. It's kind of like the Maverick. I heard about the Maverick through Automotive News, and I didn't think it was true. I thought it was fake news when the Maverick come out. And here it is, one of the best-selling things we've got, and everything else too is the Maverick. But so anyway, as soon as I know something, Jeff, I know you're itching to get another one. So trust me, as soon as I know when I can put an order in or whatever.
So and then is that a full revamp or don't know? Yeah.
I guess I wish I knew. Yeah. I think it's going to be a pretty big change for that.
So I know the Explorers, in 25 they're redoing,
and they're here. The 25 Explorers are here, and it's a good refresh. I call it the Explorer refresh. They redid the front, they did the inside. It's really they did a good job. I think it looks very good. I think they did a great job with the Explorer. And of course, the Explorer is our best-selling SUV. I think it's the best-selling SUV in the country from that part. If it still has that same record of what I know it did a year or two ago from that part too. So we got about 5 or 6 of the 25 Explorers sitting here, so that's pretty cool. But I do think they did a good job. That front end looks good. The new wheels on it, the new interior and stuff in it. I think they did a fantastic job.
Have you messed with have you driven one yet? I haven't.
No.
The sync system and stuff like that, I know, is revamped.
Now, what I will tell you, I finally drove a 24 F-150 with Blue Cruise.
Yeah.
Now, I'm telling you what's cool stuff, and Mr. Daniel, you can listen to this all you want, but what's cool as hell is lane change.
Yeah.
All you do is turn the turn signal on, it gauges it, and moves the lane for you. And I'm telling you, that was badass. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can essentially just drive along, know you're going to change the corner or whatever, hit the turn signal on, and it's going to watch the stuff and move you into your lane. That's about all. I've only got to drive it to the house and back. It's still sitting in my garage. I haven't had a chance to do any further than that with it because everything else going on. But that I need to get it on the highway and see how much difference there is and how it reacts and that kind of stuff too from that part. But that Blue Cruise 2.0, is that what it is now? I can't keep track of all the numbers and everything else too from that part too. So anyway, keep me posted on the 1,000 horsepower expedition. Well, we could probably make you one if you want to. It's okay. We can make that happen. Technology, and it's amazing. Yeah, the technology. Hey, Robert, I will tell you, if you got your product knowledge down on the 25 Explorer and want to come in here and give us a 2-minute or a 3-minute overview of the 25 Explorer and the tech that's in it, come on. You and Nick want to come in here and tell us what that about on the Explorer? Welcome you to come on in here. So, Larry Frederick, attendance last weekend at the races. I don't know which night you want. We were right around Friday night, right around the $2,000 mark, and right around 2,600 on the Saturday mark. In attendance at Salt City. We don't have Salt City on. I thought it was time we could break apart and keep these two podcasts separate, but maybe we do need to keep them up there, Josh. Keep Salt City live and going.
Keep everybody
But for those of you watching the Salt City racing deal, I tell you, it turned out fantastic. Couldn't have been better. I talked to Tommy Estes over the first of the week, talked about it, and I asked him what we could do to improve, and he had one small little issue with controlling some of the pit gates. Is all he could come up with on what he did. The drivers got out. I get ridiculed for saying it's the best track that they've seen in 50 years, but the drivers got out and said it's the best track they've raced on all year. I've had other older drivers come up to me, say they've never seen that track the way it is, and that cushion was over a foot tall.
Yeah.
And that cushion is what those guys used they made it themselves to hit that wall and stuff. And, it goes to test is Tommy Estes and that crew from Dodge City came in, and Tommy rolled in. I passed Tommy coming in Sunday night. I was racing in Hayes, and I passed this cool looking motorhome with a big old trailer on behind. I thought, what the heck's in that trailer? I roll into the Salt City Speedway on Monday afternoon, and I said, well, that was Tommy. He goes, was that you in that rig passing me about 80 mile an hour coming down there? I said, well, yeah, sure was. I was trying to get home, buddy.
You were in go home gear.
But those guys worked.
What was in the trailer?
Oh, that's where he's got his 4-wheeler and all the equipment, everything to help run the races and all that kind of stuff too. So, but they started working on it. We figured we put over 250,000 gallons of water on that track from Monday through Friday. That was just through Friday, because then we checked off and went again. And I will tell you, Friday night the Dodge City guys and Nick and I and Kyler were a little frustrated with what we had for a feature race for the 3 features. It was very dry. We'll come to find out Tommy was strictly working that track to see what it would do. So he knew what he needed to do for Saturday, or what it would take to do. So after we got the features done, they went out and picked it and put the Silver Crown cars back out there and took off. And I knew then we was going to have a good track for Saturday night. And I will tell you 100%, the Dodge City crew took over the whole track prep on Saturday. And I couldn't ask for a better racetrack. I had several people come up and tell me all about how they've been there for 50 years and all that kind of stuff. Kip Hughes went out and talked about how he advised the Silver Crown guys, because Kip's out of Oklahoma. He's raced on the Hutch Fairgrounds for many, many years, and he advised them what he thought would happen. And he went out and apologized because he says, I was wrong. It's not what happened to the track. Shane Carson, who's raced there many, many years, got many times on the track too. I talked to him, and he was thoroughly impressed with how the track held. He said, I've never seen it be that way. I've never seen as much it is. And it's just a test. You can't race on a track once a year and think it's going to be a good track. You just can't do it. This track prep has been prepping. We've been prepping on this track since April. Every month we're working on it harder and better and everything else like that. I just can't wait for the next race, August the 3rd, to see what it's going to do now without the Silver Crown cars on there, and what it's going to do to hold and go that part. I know the Dodge City guys are itching to get back to check it out, but we got a lot of work ahead of us yet. We haven't done anything to the track yet. We just let it set there. And that's under advisement of Mike Van Genderen, who helped us initially set the track up, let it set, and let it get hard again. But we got to go back and grade that berm back down.
Yep.
Or the cushion, grade it back down, get it in, and get it worked in and everything else too from that part. So it's going to be fun and exciting over there. Some see us August the 3rd. Can't even keep on top of my head what all we're racing over there. I think we're running, I don't even know. Can't even remember. Too many things in my agenda and everything else. Well, here, maybe I got something.
What I think plays a huge part in that as well is just the weather. Like that weekend, we lucked out, I think, extremely well just on the weather altogether, and it was it
was getting a little nerve-wracking there too. Okay, we're going to have late models, stock cars, modifieds, and hobby stocks. I don't know if the hobby stocks are coming back. I have to check that out, maybe in sport mods. Well, anyway, I'll get the real true thing of what's happening there too. That part. So it should be a fun race August the 3rd. Let's keep filling those stands up, and got some exciting stuff working with the Fair Board, moving forward with their progress with them. They're asking for dates and that sort of thing. So we're working on contracts and stuff too to get a multi-year deal. So everybody keep filling the stands. We're not over yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Got August the 3rd, and then September the 20th, the last two races. And then October, we're looking at some dates in October to run also, weather permitting, of course. You know how weather can be on that part too. So from that part. So exciting stuff at Salt City. All right. Yeah, Tim, what's wrong with Ford pressing you to buy a new one just to get updated Blue Cruise? 24 still the same as the 21. I think, Tim, now that I see what it's doing and stuff, I think there's a bunch more sensors on that truck to make the 2.0 work correctly and be able to do that. I wish it was just a simple software upgrade to make it work and stuff. Don't get me wrong, the Blue Cruise on your truck is still fantastic, but this new one, just to hit the turn signal, I didn't know I was going to do it. I just thought I turned the turn signal on thinking I was going to then turn the wheel and still stay in Blue Cruise. I hit the turn signal and I looked back to make sure I was going to go, and I said, whoop, off the next lane I went. Hey, hold on, I'm going to try that again. I was going all the way down Kellogg like this, Josh.
Just back and forth.
Back and forth. Back and forth. So, hey, 316-462-3673. Hey, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, battery, you want to talk about Salt City, racing, whatever it might be, call us here. We'd love to get you on the phone here and get you a great price package.
Hear what you got to say.
Yeah. So, let's go.
So, how did last night go?
At Salina?
Yeah.
We went out and I don't remember what he started in the heat race, 4th or 5th, something like that. Finished 2nd. He was back here. And you just have to in IMCA in the heat race, you just got to finish in your top 5 to hold your passing point spot. So he was playing around different lines and stuff like that. Got 2nd. Started the feature 7th.
So draw or
no? It's a points average. Okay. Basically, at that track, they take your points average for however you finish, and they invert the top 10.
Gotcha.
So anyway, we haven't raced every race at Salina just strictly because of some conflicts with Salt City and other racetracks where we've been. So we haven't been 100% in Salina this year. That part, I will tell you that Chuck Fairchild is doing a fantastic job up there at Salina. The racetrack was really good last night. We have not had a bad racetrack yet at Salina this year that we've raced. Chuck is doing a fantastic job with that track prep and making it good from that part. So we had an awesome track last night, and Jake took off. I think lap 4 or 5, he was leading it, and it was a green the whole way, all 20 laps, and brought home another win. So it's pretty cool. And then the other cool thing was they had a junior fan boat, and all the kids got to vote, and Jake won the junior fan club.
Oh, very cool.
So they brought his car out on the front straightaway and flock the kids around him. I got some pictures of that too. And I had our new shirts are coming. So I had about, I don't know, 20 or 30 shirts still left over, and I took them all to the front straight away. And there's 2 little girls standing there. I said, "Here, go hand these out." So just go.
Put them to work.
Put them to work. Well, they wanted to too,
yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think they wanted to go and have some fun with it and stuff too. So, but I will tell you, Chuck is doing a great job at Salina Speedway, getting that track back under control, good shape. Couldn't ask for a better racetrack. Hot Laps is a little greasy, but that's understandable too. But as the heat races went on and the features went on, it was a great racetrack. And again, we got out of there at a good time too. I think it was 11:15. I was pulling out of there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
dang, look at you and all your extra rest.
Yeah, I think I was still 1:30, but I had my head on my pillow this morning.
I think the biggest thing is the car's ready to go, right? Like,
oh yeah, all we got to do is, I told Jake on the way home, the best part about it is we just need to change the gear because we're on a different gear at Dodge, and slap some new tires on it, put some fuel in it, and let's go again. So anyway, okay, here we go. Tim Daniel, the Kool-Aid again. EV Kool-Aid. Yeah, well, that EV's dying. Okay. Hey, you know what I did here though too? Talk about that too. The Edge is gone. It's done being built. We've got every Edge we're going to get. About, I would say, I don't know, a year or two ago, was planned for the next electric car to be built in that plant. But I'm being told, don't have any proof yet, but they're going to be moving Super Duty production to that plant.
Really?
So that'll be 3 plants building Super Duty, which is pretty cool. I also heard they're going to be putting some more hybrid production in that plant too. So I don't know if that's a hybrid coming of some sort in the Super Duty, or whether they're going to build some F-150s in that plant with that, or what I'm thinking, the 25 Expedition is also built in the same plant as a Super Duty.
Yeah.
So maybe they're going to have a hybrid finally in the Expedition. What do you think about that, Jeff? How about a hybrid Expedition? And I think that is what's coming. I really do. I think the hybrid system that's in the F-150, which I think is, if I'm buying an F-150 today, I'm buying a hybrid. There's no doubt.
Boost, yeah.
No doubt in my mind. There's no, hands down, that's what I would buy. I think
I'll tell you what I've got more use out of one than anything is the electrical outlets in the back of it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know. You never would have thought that, I don't know, you'd use it as much as you do, and then when you have it, it's
pretty handy, isn't it?
Handy. Yeah, very handy for sure.
Yeah, even whether you got the 2 kilowatt or the 7,200, I mean, 7,200 will run your house, of course, but the 2,000 kilowatt will run about anything you want to do in the back of the bed of that truck and stuff too. So once you don't realize how good that was going to be, I thought it was pretty cool when they brought it out, but I didn't think you would use it that much. Well, guess what? Yeah, I have people coming in saying they've got to have that in their truck when they go.
I won't I'll never forget us going down and doing that F-150, the ride and drive, and the class down there, and it was in the NASCAR track down at Texas. I think.
Yeah,
and they were running that whole deal off of like 3 F-150s.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah, and I'm sitting out there running,
and they had all the like compressors and fans and all that stuff hooked up to one truck, and it was sitting there running it. So.
Yeah, very cool. So I do think the 25 Expedition will be a hybrid. I think they're going to take that platform that's in the F-150 and move that into the Expedition. I do. I think that's where you're going to get some more horsepower, Jeff. Well, maybe not 1,000, but I know you're going to get some more horsepower.
Did you do the training course up there?
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. Basically, what he was talking about, on the EV portion of it, and how his so the trainer that came was strictly EV for the longest time. Well, now they've kind of put him into the EV and the new Sync models just because of the, I guess, focus shifting a little bit from strictly EV. But essentially what he's saying is if the CAFE ratings don't change, or the emissions ratings don't change, is like basically right now, what is it? We're one EV for 10 F-150s, and next year it's going to be like 7 to 10, and then the year after that was got like 4 to 10, or something like that. And so I don't know, that just the progression of that in order to keep up with the CAFE ratings or what's going to be tough, and how they do that. I don't know.
And I understand why CAFE ratings came out back, and I think it came out in the 70s when the gas wars were coming. I remember my dad selling, you only buy 5 gallons or $5 at a time of gas, to ration out the gas and everything for that part. But I do think that came into play back then, and I understand the CAFE rating back then too. We had all these big cars that weighed 5,000 and 6,000 pounds, had these big 4-barrel carburetors on, and just sucking, getting 4 or 5 miles to the gallon. But we didn't care because gas was less than $1.
Yeah.
from that part and all the harmful emissions that were coming out them tailpipes. Now today we're running these motors so clean, it shouldn't have to do anything with emissions. It needs to be strictly. It has everything to do with emissions now instead of fuel economy. Let's don't base it off how many miles per gallon a vehicle gets. Let's base it off what's coming out the tailpipe. I mean, we got all these sensors that are monitoring rich and lean. And, we used to have one oxygen sensor. Now we got some cars got 6 and 8 oxygen sensors to monitor to keep the emissions coming out the tailpipe. As long as they're getting the emissions out the tailpipe, who cares?
Well, and diesel exhaust fluid and diesels and stuff like that. That's something we'd went over and took a tour through a different division of BG, but I was talking with that guy. So he was over foreign, all their overseas business or whatever. And so that's one of the things that we were talking about. He says, in other countries, like diesels are predominant over there. And so, the emissions in diesels is really a big thing as opposed to the US and in foreign countries. So I don't know. It's I wonder how the emissions regulations are in other countries on diesels, like comparatively to the US. I mean, they got to be just as stringent, I would think.
I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder if they really are as stringent as we are. And I understand that. I really do, for the emissions in these big cities and, the smog and the fumes and all that kind of stuff. But let's really focus back on what we need to be focusing on. It's not to the consumption as much as we're worried about the emissions coming out the tailpipe. And let's just get this back to, let's bank it off what's coming out the tailpipe. I mean, I remember back when I was in Botech school, we had the 4-gas analyzer. We putting up tailpipes, and reading what was coming out. And we adjust the carburetors to get it so close and everything else like that. I still remember it was a high number of stuff coming out that even on carburetors. Now with these fuel injections and everything else, I mean, remember you'd have back in the day you had a 400 horse motor and they sat there and lope and now you got 700-800 horsepower motors that are idle like a kit and everything else like that, and step on it and off you go, and they're getting clean emissions. It's crazy. Needs to be changed. My opinion. Got an idea how to fix that?
Well, now we're getting political. So
yeah, I know. I don't want to get that way either.
Yeah, there was what was the thing in this industry? There's a couple things you don't talk about: politics and sports, and I don't know, maybe
religion.
Religion. There you go. Yep.
No, I get it, but that's just something I think we need to address with our country. Is we need to address it on the emissions coming out the tailpipe, not the miles per gallon. And Tim, here comes the Kool-Aid. It's not really a Kool-Aid. It's just a fact of, if we want to keep driving our F-150s and our Expeditions and our nice cars to hit that CAFE rating, it's got to be something. They got to do something to change that. If they don't change it, I don't know what we're going to do. We're not going to be able to build as many F-150s.
Well, the other side of that though too is, like, there is a need for a fully EV vehicle. There are consumers out there that it would work perfectly for them, save them money. It's just not for everybody, and you just can't push it onto the masses. And I think that's what was trying to be done. Instead of finding the niche market and growing the niche market, it was here you go, deal with this, or make this work, or whatever from there. And then too, I mean, I don't know, I surely hope to think that they have so much more in technology in battery cells. If these vehicles come out and they had a 600-700 mile range or 500 mile range, like, I think this would be a way less of a discussion or a dispute or
range anxiety,
or a problem, because it's not you take a Lightning or a Mach-E and the appearance of the car, the tech in the car, like, it's a good looking vehicle. Like, there's not.
The Mach-E. I wish what they do. I understand keeping it 100% electric, but let's move that into a hybrid.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd sell that. I mean, that Mach-E is cool looking, plenty of room, everything in it. Put it a hybrid. Quit jacking around with 100% electric in that car. Let's make it a hybrid. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Period. Anyway, 316-462-3673. Got any opinions? We'll hear from you. Get a great price package, about $130. You want to call in and talk to us about what your opinion is of the CAFE ratings. Where should it go? What should we do? I think it needs to come down. I think it needs to be changed. But hey, love to hear your opinion too. 316-462-3673. Bill Lindsay, good morning. How you doing, buddy? Anyway, got a lot of people watching online, and love to hear from your ideas and your opinions of CAFE ratings, electric cars, hybrid cars, whatever it might be. I got my opinions. Josh, you got yours, right?
How about Do they still do gas guzzler tax? Do you
know? Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, sure do.
What is do you know when that applies?
You know, I don't know. I don't know the rules.
It's by horsepower, I think, isn't it? Or no? For some reason I thought it was by horsepower, but I'll have to dig into that.
Yeah, if anybody wants to know how they determine when gas guzzler tax is applied.
So
it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, for me that had to be on every vehicle, I'm afraid. I don't know.
Maybe
I swear, like Lisa, she can drive something. I don't know. She'll drive it 40, 50,000, 60,000 miles, original tires, original brakes, everything's fine.
Not me.
Yeah, no.
Not me.
I'll bring it in for service and 2 miles to the gallon. Just that trip. So.
Yeah, I got to go. I don't need to be sitting around waiting. I got to go.
And I remember the Fusion, the EVs, when they very first came out. I mean, this is like what, 2010 or 11. There would be like a tree that would grow. You drove it real nice and it would bloom and have leaves and all that stuff. No, mine was dead, wilted, laying over on the ground.
So. Adrian Goebel, as a fireman, I hate the electric cars. Yeah, if them things catch fire, it's got hard to put them out. Hey, Adrian, if you'd like to call in and talk about that, 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you. That comes right in the front desk, Adrian. And if you got some experience with that, or whatever, love to hear from you.
The fumes from something like that.
Well, you see those videos out there and stuff too. They just can't get them out.
Yeah,
you just can't get them to stop and go out. And my thing is too is going back to is what starts that fire. You know, what's wrong or what happened or what did it do? Where's the resistance or where's the heat building that's making it catch fire? What's happening when they do catch fire?
I mean, from as a fireman standpoint, like it's electric, right? So you're not just going to dump water on it.
Yeah, Adrian, we got some questions for you, buddy. If you got some answers or some opinions, hey, opinions like, you know what, we all got one. So, hey, come on, let's go. 316-462-3673. Maybe you fought a fire, Adrian, and had to put it out or whatever it might be. But I agree with you. If that was kind of the deal. Now, I will tell you that's kind of like when the hybrids first come out too. You know, they've got all those big orange cords going through there. And I know firemen's had to have a lot of training on that too, because if they got those jaws of life in there or whatever and hit the wrong cable and cut them or whatever, would cause all kinds of issues too. But so Adrian, if you want to talk to us about that, love to hear from you. Appreciate you being a fireman and trying to protect us and take care of us. But love to hear your opinions on that stuff. But I agree with you. I would hate to be a fireman having to try to put out an electric car. I don't know if they use foam. I don't know. Maybe Adrian's got a good answer. I bet he does, because he's, like you said, he hates it. So he must have fought a fire or something with that situation too. So
well, and then the knowing, right? Like, is it not? How do you approach it? The instant analysis that you would have to take on everything that you approached of what's the right way to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that ensures that I get to go home at the end of the night too. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, Adrian, if you got a chance, you want to talk to us, I'd love to hear from you, and we'll talk about that too. Next thing, I'm going to just something else. You know, things go through your mind as you go through the week and stuff. I had customers, him and his wife were in to see me yesterday and talking about different cars and different models and, you know, the luck they've had with certain brands and all that kind of stuff too. And got into the recall situation again about, you know, how these manufacturers have so many recalls and all that kind of stuff. And I started explaining to her how it used to be, you know, back in my day as a tech, GM had these green bulletins that would show up, green pieces of paper and had writing on it. And we were all excited. We'd read, see what the recall was, what was involved, what it was going to take to fix it, and how many cars we got to fix, you know, that kind of thing. And by the time we got that green bulletin, guess what we had? We had parts, we had the special tools, we had everything. Adrian, 316-462-3673. It's right there in the bottom left of the screen. Looks like we got another call on the line there too. And we had the tools and everything to fix it. But one of the manufacturers made a huge cover-up and tried to cover it up. So now NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Association, makes these manufacturers announce the recalls even before we have repairs or parts or anything to fix these cars. And it gets the media stirred up, gets everybody stirred up on what's going on with these recalls. And we don't even have the right proper repair procedure from that part. So anyway, the other thing I kind of remember, the one thing I brought up to her is, like, here about a year ago, we had like, I don't know, 30 or 40 escapes we had to put on a stop sell because there was some kind of a brake issue. And after the recall finally got figured out what was going on, guess what? We had one car that needed to be inspected and it needed nothing. All of a sudden, these cars just disappeared off the list to fix. And we think, man, we set these cars back here for this long not to sell them. And there really was nothing wrong with them. So it's just hard when we're sitting here trying to take care of these recalls, and we don't have the fix yet, don't have the parts yet, we don't have the tools or whatever it might be to fix it. But there are a lot of recalls out there that are just simply a software update, which is, I get it. I used to get teased about that. Put an update in, put a computer in. But now today these updates fix a lot of cars, Josh.
What I would wonder, just knowing what I know about the industry and being in it, and the number of recalls, like if they took updates out of the list of recalls,
I don't think there'd be near as many.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. I mean, it would be. I would say probably 80% of everything that gets recalled is due to some sort of update.
Yeah.
And so from the consumer side of things, like, I understand why it seems that way, that it seems that there's a lot of updates, but then also, or a lot of recalls to vehicles. But when all you're doing is performing an update to make a system better, like, probably not the end of the world. So, hey, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Grant. Grant, you're on Live with Under the Hood. Good morning.
Good morning. I had you guys said something about the electric charging and how people are trying to be more clean about it. And I was just wondering, because I've seen some gas stations that have diesel generated like charging stations, but we also burn a whole lot of coal. So how is this cleaner than just having fossil fuels or even hybrids?
Grant, I'm with you 100%. 100%. I don't understand it at all either. I've got a situation with one of my dealer buddies trying to meet these electric regulations that the manufacturers are putting out there for them. In this particular manufacturer regulations, they went to the electric company, and basically the electric company told him they couldn't get him enough of that, get him that amount of power to his dealership. And guess what they told him to do? Put a generator in, put a diesel generator in. Does that? I said, are you kidding me? He said, no, that's what the electric company told him to do, because they couldn't get him the amount of power that he needed to have to be able to charge those electric cars at his dealerships to put in a generator. Now, how crazy is that? I agree with you 100%, Grant. Don't make sense.
That's ridiculous. I mean, my 07 car gets 300 miles to a gallon. My dad's hybrid Toyota Avalon gets almost 50. And then his Ford F-150, Boost, it's a hybrid as well. It gets 600 miles to the gallon. But then we look at the Tesla Cybertruck or whatever. It can barely go as far as my car.
Yeah.
And it can't tow like my father's truck.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, Grant. I feel you. And I have no answer either. Why we went down this road so hard, other than this, I'm going to call it stupid, this cafe ratings that these manufacturers have been put on from the government that says you got to get every one of your cars to hit. And I don't know what the number is anymore. I think it's in the low 40s. If every car you make's got to hit this mile per gallon. And I disagree with that. I think it's got to be what's the emissions coming out the tailpipe. And think about those cars you just rattled off. I guarantee the emissions coming out of the tailpipe are very clean. There's not that many harmful emissions coming out those tailpipes. That's what we got to regulate, is my opinion. Not how many miles per gallon a car is getting.
I definitely agree. And I'll go one step further. Like, California, they're saying that they want to go all electric, including semi. And like you just said, there's not enough power to sustain that.
No. I talked to several.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I've talked to several of my buddies that run trucking company stuff, and the testing that the diesels are doing and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Just think of the weight of the batteries that's doing, and think of the weight running down our highways. What's that's going to do to our highways?
To the roads.
To the roads and stuff. And now we're not selling the fuel, so we're not getting the road tax to back and repair the roads again. It's just a double negative in my part from that part, but there. From that standpoint, I just do. Even the tractor industries, I've talked to several of my buddies in that industries too about how much weight that is and everything else in the fields. It's huge.
Oh, now, do you think like what Ram's doing, where they have the engine through the battery / transfer case, do you think that would be helpful then?
Well, that's kind of what we're doing.
For semis?
I don't know about a semi. I don't know if you can do that big enough making a hybrid. That's kind of where I was saying earlier in the show, Grant, is if I was buying an F-150 today, it would be a hybrid. And that's exactly what we're doing. We've got another electric motor behind the motor. Gives it another 50 horsepower and like 54 foot-pounds of torque. And when I drive a hybrid versus a non-hybrid, I pick up 5 to 6 miles per gallon just with that situation in an F-150. That is huge in my opinion. Driving it the same. Now, if I really drive an F-150 and baby it, now it's hard for me to do that very long. But I can if I leave the dealership to my house is about 13 miles. And if I drive it nicely and very easily, accelerate right, brake right, I mean, I can get 30 miles a gallon out of an F-150. But again, that's babying it, taking my time and all that kind of stuff too. So I agree with you 100%, buddy.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, thanks for the calls and the comments, and thanks for watching the show.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
You too, buddy.
We'll get got another caller on the line. We'll get Adrian patched through and see what he has to say.
Adrian's our fireman. I'd love to hear what he's going to have to say.
Yeah,
Greg, 300 miles a tank, I think is what he was meaning behind that on his cars when all those different ones he's rounding off. But still, think of some of that fuel economy we've got out there today from that part. And it's just what we got to work with. So anyway.
We'll go back to the phones here. Good morning, Adrian. You're on Live with Under the Hood.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Hey, good, buddy. Hey, thanks for calling in. I appreciate your comment out there, being a fireman, and I'm sure you have some interesting stories you could probably tell. But do you have a situation where you had to put out an electric car? I'm really curious.
Not the electric car yet, per se. I'm on a volunteer fire department.
Gotcha.
And we went out on a semi-trailer fire here about a month ago that had the batteries in it, and they weren't the car batteries, but it was the lithium batteries. And every time you put the water to the lithium batteries, they just flame right back up even bigger. So I can't imagine being on a car fire, and having to do all the grounding and all that with those cars. We've had the training videos and stuff, but we haven't had to fight one, thank God, so far.
So what, as far as like some of the training procedures and things like that you guys have been through, I mean, do you use a foam chemical, or what do you have to ground the car? What do you have to do? Walk us through that.
You have to ground the car, especially if it's sitting in water already. And you got to be really, really careful on what cables you cut, where to cut on the cables to discharge the batteries when you're fighting one.
Yeah. And then as far as like grounding the car, do they give you?
Yeah, how do you do that?
They give you some tools and equipment to do that, or what do you got going on there?
That is one of the things that I haven't had to do yet. We're still in the training processes for that, but I guess supposedly you can take a fence post, throw it in the water, and hope it lands up against the car, and that supposedly will ground it out.
Yeah,
sounds kind of crazy to me, but again,
yeah, I thought the same thing. Like I said, I haven't fought the actual car fires yet, but it just scared the heck out of me having to go out on one of these days and having to do all that.
Well, I'm glad you haven't had to fight one yet. That's for sure. I've seen several videos of those things burn into the ground and trying to put them out and that sort of thing too, and stuff. So
right.
I'm glad you had
a lot of them out in California, I guess. And my cousin's a firefighter they're in Wichita, so I'm sure that he's had to fight one or two. I'm sure, but I don't know. I have never asked him. But California seems like they have a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's so many more of them out there. I mean, they're one of the states that mandate so many, I don't know what that name of that is again, but there's like 7 states out there right now that have higher ratings than the rest of the states on this fuel economy and emissions and all that kind of stuff too from that part. So that's why there's so many more of those Teslas and all the different electric cars out there in California.
Right. I'm starting to see more of them running up and down the interstate, especially on I-70. And I just cringe every time I see one. I hope it gets out of our county real quick.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there too, buddy. So, hey, Adrian, thanks for calling in. Appreciate your comments. Thanks for being a volunteer fireman. Yeah, you going to Dodge City, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I knew you would be.
You know that.
I know, I'm just kidding, buddy. I'm just kidding. I knew, just testing you there, okay? You might need to come over and help me unload. I'm gonna be by myself, so I might need a little help when you get there, buddy. Okay.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you later, guys.
See you, buddy.
Have a good evening.
You bet.
Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Adrian's one of the guys that helps us at Salina. I mean, at Hutch, and also he's one of the crews on full time out at Dodge City Speedway too. So Dodge City tonight, a lot of fun out there. It's memorial race for Gorman. God, I can't think of his first name. That's bad on my part, not knowing that name again, but off the top of my head. So it'll be fun tonight out at Dodge City. So Adrian, thanks for calling in. Adrian, I believe he lives out there somewhere around Dodge City or whatever too. So anyway,
yeah, I never even thought about the electric vehicle and a fire side of it and an accident and Jaws alive cutting into something. You know what I'm saying? Like just being in the industry, it's amazing how it's amazing how the automotive industry affects so many different other entities. You know, just the ripple effect of what that would do. All the way down the line.
Yep, exactly. So. Hey, anyway, everybody, it's been a great show. We've been had a lot of great comments and different things about the electric cars, that kind of thing. We all need to push and get this CAFE rating gone. We need to go to emissions. What's coming out that tailpipe? Let's regulate that instead of regulating how many miles per gallon they go from that part. He's from Russell. Okay, there we go. Didn't know exactly where he's from, Adrian. But tell you, Adrian, sorry, I thought your voice sounded familiar, but I didn't know your last name, so that's kind of terrible on my part too. So sorry about that, Adrian. Adrian does a great job out there at Dodge City, and also does a great job at Hutch for us. So, Adrian, thank you for you and your crew and everybody from Dodge that comes to Hutch and helps at Salt City. It's been fun. It's been great, and couldn't do that shows without all those guys that come in there and help us too. Thanks, Bill. We need some luck. We always need some luck on our hands to get things moving. So anyway, Josh, any last closing comments, anything whatsoever?
Like I said, start of the show is school's right around the corner. So if you need to get son or daughter's car ready to go before they start heading back to college or school, let's make that happen.
And I don't know if you watched on our Facebook page, Lisa started I don't know, it was Wednesday or Thursday, we started a new Christmas in July. And we've got envelopes laid out on the table. You can draw an envelope after you purchase your car anywhere from $500 to $5,000. And it's anything. If you want to put it towards your note or just take a check, we'll do whatever you want to do. And we've got a lot of people pulled this last night. We had a lady pull 4,000.
I was going to say there were some cheers going on last night. So I'm assuming we had to be up there.
You want to get a chance to get it something. We got a lot of. My new inventory is back up where it needs to be. A little light on the used still, but we'll go trade for some stuff, get our used inventory back there. But check out our website, mhford.com. Plenty of new cars out there today. There's lots of incentives, lots of rebates. Check out the pricing we put on the 23s that are still left over. I tell you can buy a $60,000 F-150 for about $48,000.
Oh, really?
Sure can. With our discounts and $7,000 worth of money coming from Ford. So the rebates are back. The incentives are back. So let's go have some fun with it. Everybody have a great Saturday. Tune in next Wednesday at 6 o'clock for the Salt City Racing Update. August the 3rd is our next race. Tune in next Saturday at 9 o'clock on this show. We'll give you an update how we're going to be exciting going on. Maybe we'll have to do this show live at Salt City next Saturday, Josh.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody have a great Saturday. Have a great week. Stay cool, and we'll talk to you Wednesday at 6 o'clock and next Saturday at 9 o'clock, and I'm sure we'll be live at Salt City Racing next Saturday morning. Everybody have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.